Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Jaya Krishna Balaram Jaya Krishna Balaram Krishna Balaram Jaya Krishna Balaram Jaya Krishna Balaram Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Jai Sri Nitai Gauranga ki Sri Krishna Balaram ki Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 6, text 47. Please repeat after me. Yoginam api sarvesham Yoginamapi sarvesham madgatenantaratmana madgatenantaratmana Shraddhavan bhajate yo mam Shraddhavan bhajate yo mam Same yuktatamo mataha Same yuktatamo mataha. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. And of all yogis, he who always abides in me with great faith, worshipping me in transcendental loving service, is most intimately united with me in yoga and is the highest of all. Please repeat. And of all yogis, he who always abides in me with great faith, worshipping me in transcendental loving service, is most intimately united with me in yoga and is the highest of all. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. The word bhajate is significant here. Bhajate has its root in the verb bhaj, which is used when there is need of service. The English word worship cannot be used in the same sense as bhaja. Worship means to adore or to show respect and honor to the worthy one. But service with love and faith is especially meant for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One can avoid worshipping a respectable man or a demigod and may be called discourteous, but one cannot avoid serving the Supreme Lord without being thoroughly condemned. Every living entity is part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and thus every living entity is intended to serve the Supreme Lord by his own constitution. Failing to do this, he falls down. The Bhagavatam confirms this as follows. Ya esham purusham sakshad atma prabhavam ishwaram na bhajanti avajananti sthanad bhrashta patantyadhaha. Anyone who does not render service and neglects his duty unto the primeval Lord, who is the source of all living entities, will certainly fall down from his constitutional position. So this is a big purport. We will pause there and we'll discuss on this verse and then we'll get back to that. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Gnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin iti namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Jai Srila Prabhupada. So this is the last verse of the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Krishna says, Yoginam api sarvesham. That means of all kinds of yogis. Sarvesham yoginam. Madgatena antaratmana. One who is always residing in me. Madgatena antaratmana, within himself. He is always thinking of me. And Shraddhavan, with great faith. With great faith, he is always thinking of me. And bhajate mam. Bhajate means worship, or specifically engage in service. As you can see in the purport, Prabhupada explains, bhajati cannot actually refer to worship. It refers to service. So a yogi who is always thinking of Krishna within himself and is rendering loving transcendental service to Krishna with faith, Shraddhavan bhajate, Saha, that person, that yogi, me mataha, in my opinion, not my opinion, Krishna's opinion, he says, Yukta tamaha. Yukta tama means the best. Yukta, yuktatara, yuktatama. There is 3 degrees of good, better, best, they say, isn't it, in English? Good, better, best. So, yukta is good, better than that is better, yuktatara, and the best, to describe something best, the word used is yuktatama. Yukta, yuktatara, yuktatama. That means, Krishna here, he says, who is the best yogi? That means one who is always devoted to Krishna, rendering loving devotional service to Krishna. This is the verdict of Bhagavad Gita. This is the verdict of the speaker of Bhagavad Gita. The actual intent of Bhagavad Gita is to say that Bhakti Yoga is the best. That is why we always advocate anyone who come to temple to take up to devotional service, because it's not based on our own mental concoction. It's the best recommendation of Bhagavad Gita. Because the actual intent of Bhagavad Gita can be known only to the speaker of Bhagavad Gita, who is Krishna. Our spiritual master Srila Prabhupada used to tell one incident. There is this, in his times, there was one famous author, Mr. Seth, who has written a book called Shah Jahan. He titled the book as Shah Jahan. And when you read that book, it was completely about the horrible activities of his son Aurangzeb. I'm assuming you all know about this. Aurangzeb, Shah Jahan. Shah Jahan is the one who built Taj Mahal. So all the gory activities, horrible activities of Aurangzeb, how he imprisoned his own father and killed his brothers, whatever, and all of those. And so one gentleman read that book that he has written, and he's gone to the author and he said, your book should have been titled Aurangzeb, but I'm very curious why you titled this book as Shah Jahan. And then the author said, actually, if you properly read the book, I wanted to highlight the pain of Shah Jahan when he is imprisoned, looking at all these bad activities, atrocious activities of his son Aurangzeb, and the pain he is feeling inside. I wanted that to come out. That is my intent of the book. That is why I named it as Shah Jahan. That means the actual intent of the book is known only by the author. So the actual intent of Bhagavad Gita is known only to Krishna, and Krishna is revealing the best kind of yoga is Bhakti Yoga. There are different kinds of yogas also mentioned by Krishna. For those who cannot come to that platform, there is Karma Yoga mentioned, there is Gnana Yoga mentioned, there is Dhyana Yoga mentioned, and of course there is Bhakti Yoga mentioned. So what is Karma Yoga? Karma means activity. Going closer to God through our duty. That's called Karma Yoga. And the method is not to take the result of that activity. Like we all earn. We all go to job, we all earn. And by enjoying that earning, we are getting implicated in the sinful reactions. But if you give up that result of your earning or your duty, that is called Karma Yoga. When you add that with a little bit of knowledge from the scriptures and detachment, that becomes Gnana Yoga. So there is Karma Yoga, and then there is Gnana Yoga. And then when you add a little bit of meditation on the Paramatma within your heart, it is called Dhyana Yoga. So they are the rungs of the ladder: Karma Yoga, Gnana Yoga, Dhyana Yoga. And finally, when you accept Krishna as a supreme personality, personality like all of us, but in a different league altogether, the transcendental personality, and engage in loving transcendental service, that is called Bhakti Yoga. That is the topmost yoga, the topmost rung of the yoga ladder. Then one might say, I have not taken any of this Karma Yoga, Gnana Yoga, Dhyana Yoga. I've never studied Vedanta. I've never meditated on Paramatma. I've directly taken to Bhakti. I have not crossed through these rungs. How did I reach this topmost platform? So, the Acharyas say that you can go to the top of the building either by putting a ladder and going up the ladder, which is like going up from Karma Yoga, Gnana Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga, or nowadays, not nowadays, since several decades, we have this elevator. You can directly enter the elevator and directly go to the top stage very easily. So that is the advantage of Bhakti Yoga. So one need not go through these stages one after the other. One can directly go to the Bhakti Yoga. Sometimes people also say, oh, Bhakti Yoga is meant for less intelligent people. Less intelligent people, they cannot study Shastra, they cannot understand the intricacies of Vedanta. So they are advised to go to temple, see the deity, and participate in singing, chanting. So that kind of accusation is also there. So that kind of accusation was made to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was Krishna himself, who came 500 years ago as the devotee of Krishna. He accepted sannyasa. So usually in those days, sannyasa means, even now, largely, sannyasa means studying of Vedanta, austerities, dedicating yourself to study of scriptures and all of that, sannyasi. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was not that kind of sannyasi. He was performing Sankirtana Yagna. He would gather people, the masses. He would organize this Sankirtana Yagna, which is chanting of Hare Krishna mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Rama Ram, Hare Hare. So he would organize this mass Sankirtan movement. People are singing and dancing. He would himself start to sing and dance in ecstasy, like a madman. And people would misunderstand. Hey, he is sannyasi. Why he is doing like this? So one time when he went to Varanasi, this group of sannyasis led by their leaders, Prakashananda Saraswati, they accused the Lord. Hey, you are a sannyasi. Why are you not studying Vedanta? Why are you dancing like this? And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, somehow he wanted to meet them. He went there. And then he started to answer. See, actually, my spiritual master, he told me, Guru more murkha dekhi karilo shashan. He saw me a great fool. He is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, God himself. He is saying, my spiritual master saw me a great fool, and he said, don't study Vedanta. You cannot understand Vedanta. And even if you understand, in Kali Yuga, people cannot properly understand the true meaning of Vedanta. Actually, it is said, the cream of the Vedas are saying, they're glorifying the chanting of the holy name. But how many of them know? Nikhila Shruti Mauli Ratnamala Dyuti Nirajita Pada Pankajanta. The crest jewel of the Vedas, called the Upanishads, they are glorifying the toenails, the shining toenails of the holy name. Not many people know. So therefore my Guru said, don't study Vedanta, just chant Hare Krishna mantra. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu provided several quotes. One quote he provided from Bruhan Naradiya Purana, which says, Harer Nama, Harer Nama, Harer Nama Iva Kevalam, Kalau nasti eva gatiranyatha. So he said, in this age, there is no other method, no other method, no other method. Harer Nama, Harer Namaiva Kevalam. Only by chanting of the holy name of Lord Hari, chanting the holy name of Lord Hari, chanting the name of Lord Hari. That means no karma yoga, no gnana yoga, no dhyana yoga. Only bhakti yoga. That is the only way by which you can become freed from this influence of Kali Yuga. There is no other method. So Prakashananda Saraswati and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they had a debate. This is a great Vedantist, Prakashananda Saraswati, leader of 60,000 sannyasis, the most knowledgeable person. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he proved that, just as I said, the original intent of a book can be understood only by the author. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu basically said, the Vedanta Sutra is written by whom? Who wrote Vedanta Sutra? Anybody? Vedavyas. So the intent of Vedanta Sutra can be understood by whom? Naturally, Vedavyas. So he said, Vedavyasa, he has given a natural commentary of Vedanta Sutra in the form of which book? Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam. He has given a natural commentary in the form of Srimad Bhagavatam. And therefore, our duty is to follow the Srimad Bhagavatam. The best message of Vedanta Sutra is given in Srimad Bhagavatam. So there was one time a king. He was having his best minister. And this best minister was always giving him best advice, because of which the king avoided all troubles and he made a big kingdom. He was very prosperous. And one time, the old age has caught up this minister. He was about to die. He was on the deathbed. And he told the king, don't worry for me. You've done whatever I advised to you. I'm going to give you this letter, sealed letter. And open it at the time the most you need. At the time of your death, please remember this and follow this advice. So he took that letter. He put it in that locket in his necklace. And then life went on. One time, it so happened that every king has their heyday and every king has a bad day. The enemy king has come, trying to capture their kingdom, and the troops have all fallen, and they started to run towards this king. And now the king, he started to escape. He went to a place, the corner of a cliff, and there is nothing beyond it. He has to jump into the cliff. He knew that his time has come to an end. And then he remembered, oh, what did my minister give me? This is the time I'm going to die. This is the time I need to open it. And then he opened that locket and opened the letter. And he said, my dear king, I wanted you to teach this, but I could not teach you. But hopefully this is the time for you. You will understand definitely, because there is no other recourse for you. Hopefully this is the time you understand. Follow what Maharaj Parikshit did in his life when he was encountering the greatest danger. And then he left it at that. And then this king was scratching, because that's the only story he has heard in his whole life in Bhagavat. The story of Maharaj Parikshit, where we all know Maharaj Parikshit was cursed to die in how many days? 7 days. And then he did not fight that curse. He went to the bank of Ganga, and he called all the assembly of great sages, the most eminent personalities, and then he asked them, what is the duty of a dying man? He wanted to know what is the duty of a dying man. And then all of them had a meeting. They were all proposing different things. And suddenly, this eminent personality, the leader of all of them, even though he was young, he was the most effulgent and renowned and appreciated, respected. Sukadeva Goswami has come, and everybody took him to be the person who is going to give the proper answer for this question. And there was discussion, and then Sukadeva Goswami, he said, Mukta Sangaha Param Vrajet Kaler Doshanidhe Rajan Asti Eko Mahagunan Kirtanadeva Krishnasya Mukta Sangha Param Vrajet. This ocean, this Kali Yuga is an ocean of faults, and just by chanting the holy name of Krishna, one can get Mukta Sangaha. So take to the chanting of holy name of Krishna, or in other words, the duty of a dying man is to chant the holy name of the Lord. So now the king understood, oh, this is what Parikshit Maharaj did, this is what my minister wants me to do. And so he started to chant this Hare Krishna mantra. And now he was closing his eyes and chanting, and it was raining also, the edge of the cliff, and there was this landslide. And then he thought he was going to die. The edge of the cliff, it fell a little bit, but he did not die, he settled in that groove. So these soldiers, they came running, and they looked everywhere, and because it created a groove inside, they could not find him. And he kept on chanting. He thought he was going to die. And he kept on chanting, and then he realized that nobody was there to catch him. He was alive. And then slowly he got up out of that groove, got up the cliff, and then came back, and he saw that his kingdom was all gone. But then he went back to the place where he always kept it hidden. He was cultivating some backup army and all of that. So he trained them again, and then he got his kingdom back in due course of time. And then again, things were going well. He had a wife and a child, youngster. He was training him well. And then one day again in his dream, the same minister has come who was on his deathbed. And then he was scratching his head. The minister, last time when he died, he put me in trouble. So this time also, by coming in my dream, he is indicating trouble. And then he was examining his own life, and he was thinking, my minister told me at the time of death, the duty of a dying man is to always chant. But then, I could have died any time. That means he was actually indicating, be ready, your death is going to come. So better I be ready. The next day, he prepared himself fully. I'm going to put my son as a king, and I'm going to resign. And that day it so happened, he was going in a chariot in the night time, rainy day. The chariot hit somebody, and that person died. And the father of that person, Brahmana, came to the court and cursed the king. Because of your chariot, my son died. You will also die by getting hit shortly in next 2 days. And then this man thought, okay, the minister already gave me indication. I'm going to resign and go to the forest and put my son in charge of the kingdom. And he went, and he died after 2 days. But he died chanting the holy name of the Lord. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu established that the Vedanta Sutra, the cream of the Vedanta Sutra, Bhagavatam, is establishing the importance of chanting the holy name. Parikshit Maharaj, he has summoned all the great people of the world, and what is their verdict? To chant the holy name of the Lord. They are not ordinary people. The great scientists, the great philosophers, you call whatever it is, the best knowledgeable people, they gave the verdict. So this is the advantage of Bhakti Yoga. Krishna says in Bhagavatam, Swalpamapya asya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. Even a little bit of bhakti you take, little bit of association of a spiritual master, a saintly person you take, you attain the highest destination. There was another time there was a thief. So this thief, these thieves usually they look at all these places where they can find good wealth. So he found one place of a great wealthy man, And he found a loophole also in that building. You can enter that building through this garden, the backside of the wealthy man's house. So, but he did a mistake. He wanted to enter the garden, but he didn't know how to get out. So as soon as he jumped into the garden, the wall was a little steep. And then he didn't know how to get out. He said, anyway, I'm going to try. So he ran inside the house and he was about to steal. And then somehow that made a noise. And these guards came out running to catch him. And so this thief was running, trying to escape these people. And he could not get out of that garden. The wall was too high. So everywhere he was running in the garden, he could not get out. He could not get anything in the house also. So one place in the garden, these workers, they hang these towels and all of these things. He found an orange towel. So he got an idea. So because next to his house, there was some Bhagavat discussion was going on by these great saintly people. So sometimes they would wear this orange, sannyasis. So he took that, he made it like a turban, and then he removed his shirt and he was on his dhoti. And then he was sitting in the corner of the garden. He was doing meditation like this. And then the guards came. The guards came and his trick worked. Oh, Swamiji, we didn't know that you are in this place. They offered his respects. Have you seen a thief running around in this place? And then this person said, no, I have not seen. I don't know. I'm just deep in meditation. And somehow they went away and they said somehow this thief escaped. But the news spread everywhere. Oh, there was this new sadhu in town. He was doing meditation in this wealthy man's place. And then people started to visit and they also allowed him, okay, he's in the corner. So this sadhu, this new sadhu, now he's trying, what should I do? I don't know anything. So he was trying to repeat whatever he has heard from the discourses next to his house. So a small child comes, hey, Hare Krishna, he was saying. And then somebody, a little bigger person comes, oh, you should only speak the truth. You should chant the holy names of the Lord as much as possible. Like this he was speaking. Now he is forced to speak like that. And not only that, people who would come, they were bringing all kinds of, offerings. And he was happily engaged. He was taking those offerings. His life was settled. And then he was forced to speak whatever he has heard a little bit. And then after a few days, he was running out of the ideas, what to speak. And then he again went to that place. He heard something more. And again came back and started to speak something more, whatever he has heard. And in this way, over a period of time, he became a complete sadhu. And he gave up his inclination as a thief and he became a devotee, a real sadhu. And finally, his friend, the thief friend comes. Hey, what are you doing? You're supposed to be my partner. And then he tells the story. No, I've completely given up all of those. Better you also come. This is a better occupation. You get everything. Krishna really takes care of you. This is a much better occupation. We could have realized it long back. So this is the power of association of a saintly person. So as scriptures say, sadhu sanga sarva shastre kaye, lava matra sadhu sanga sarva siddhi hoy. If you have association of a great saintly person, even for a fraction of a second, lava matra sadhu sanga. Lava means, I think it's about 1/8 of a second. Not even 1 second. Sarva siddhi hoy. Eventually, you will attain all perfection. One friend of mine, he was telling, he visited Vrindavan. And he was in a hurry. So he went to this Govardhan. If you know Govardhan, obviously we know Govardhan. And there is a sacred place called Radha Kunda, nearby the vicinity of Govardhan. And he didn't want to not go to that place because that's the best place you should go. But he didn't have time. So he said, okay, I'm just going to go there and take some water, sprinkle on my head, and then go. So now why that story came up is because he's lost his passport. He had to reapply. So he was telling. So what happened? He went there and he went to the lake. He was trying to get into the lake, take some water and sprinkle on his head. But that is very sticky and very slippery. So somehow he didn't take care and then he slipped and fell into the lake, completely submerged. And he had passport, everything in his pocket, that also completely submerged. In fact, he lost it. And Krishna somehow made him dip completely into the Radha Kund. Once he got in, he said, anyway, I'm fully inside. Let me take a bath. And he came out. And then he said, actually, I wanted to only, somebody of you told that Radha Kunda is the most sacred place. I had this desire to go, but somehow Krishna forced me and made me dip. And, I feel fortunate in that sense. Krishna forced me. It's okay. My passport is lost. I can apply again and all of that. Similar thing, we all have experience. We want to see, let me see this YouTube shorts. Just a little bit, I'll see only one. By the time we realize, we'll be fully dipped into 1 hour would have been gone, isn't it? See how it matters. Just a little bit of good thing can create a momentum for that good thing. And little bit of bad thing again can create a momentum for that bad thing. So all Krishna is saying is, start with the good thing. Manmana bhava mad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mamevaishyasi yuktva atmanam matparayanaha. You come to temple, worship me, make it only a little thing. You desire, okay, at least once in a week, I want to go to temple. I want to sit in the class. I want to chant just 1 round of Hare Krishna mantra. Every day you take a oath. I want to chant at least few mantras. This is a trick. You start with small, and that Krishna will take that. Krishna will make you completely immerse into it. But you have to stick to it every day. That is the trick. So in this verse, Krishna is establishing that the best of all yogis is this yogi. I'll stop here. Any other questions anybody has? Yes. Yeah. Okay. So her question is, what is the difference between dhyan and bhakti? Dhyan and bhakti. So actually dhyana is part of bhakti. If you establish Krishna as your worshipable object, worshipable personality, to meditate on him is also part of bhakti. Because bhakti has 9 components. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atmanivedanam. So Smaranam or Dhyana is the same as is bhakti. But if you are Dhyana on Paramatma in the heart, these yogis, they don't accept Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They consider God as Paramatma in the heart. If you read the scriptures, there is description of Paramatma in the heart. They don't understand that Paramatma can have presence as a personality outside. He has his abode, he has his pastimes, he has his associates. All of these things also exist. They cannot perceive Paramatma as the same Krishna acting as Paramatma. So they only focus on Paramatma. And most of them, they eventually accept that ultimately we all become impersonal also. So those people we are calling as dhyana yogis, who focus on Paramatma in the heart and who eventually consider merging into impersonal absolute effulgence as the ultimate reality. Those are called dhyana yogis. But when they know that Krishna is only Paramatma and they focus on Krishna as Paramatma in the heart, they are also bhakti yogis. So it is the intention that matters. It's a very good question. Yeah, yes. Mm-hmm. We chant Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, and then. Uh-huh. Okay. So your name of Krishna. So her question is, we chant this Hare Krishna mantra, and sometimes when I'm doing other things at household, like cooking and other things, I'm chanting Krishna, Krishna, Krishna like that. Is that the same thing or different? It's the same thing. Same thing. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Namna Makari Bahudha Nija Sarva Shaktihi. The Lord has multiple names, multifarious names, innumerable names, in fact, and each of them are as potent as Himself. So all of them are very powerful. But we follow the recommendation given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which is chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. So that's what we do all the time. You make it a habit and you can chant Hare Krishna. Krishna is also obviously, Krishna and Hare Krishna not different. Hare Krishna, the speciality is we are explicitly calling out Krishna's internal potency, Radharani. Hara means Radharani. Hare means, O Radha. Hare Krishna, O Radha Krishna. We are calling both Radha and Krishna, the divine couple, to engage us in service. So it's a double bonanza. No, that's not bona fide mantra. Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. It's not a bona fide mantra. Yeah. Yeah, Krishna is fine. Krishna is fine. Yeah. Okay. Anyone else? Okay. So I hope all of you got these beats. Yeah. Yeah. So we have a desk there to take care of the newcomers coming for the first time to temple. Anybody coming, visiting for the first time? Hare Krishna. Welcome. Welcome. So please visit that desk. Our volunteers will take care of you and give you a small gift and register you for the events and festivals at the temple. We have some upcoming events, wonderful events, volunteering opportunities, and how to progress spiritually and all these things. Okay. Okay, so now we'll be chanting one mala of Hare Krishna mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So, as I said, the name of Krishna is non-different from Krishna himself. Especially this mantra as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu prescribed. It's mentioned in the scriptures. And it's the only method for, in this age of Kali, to get rid of this influence of Kali Yuga, as great personalities have followed. This is the Hare Krishna mantra. And the only condition is you should attentively hear what you are chanting. Chant or vibrate this mantra with your mouth, produce the sound, hear the sound very attentively with your ears. Krishna enters into your heart and cleanses all your impurities. And the only condition is you chant out very distinctly, you produce the sound, very attentively you hear the sound, and that's all it requires. It's a great art of mantra meditation. Okay, so we'll chant together synchronously. You can follow me. Before we chant, we take the blessings of Guru Gauranga. Please repeat after me first and then we chant together. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. So let's chant together. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, as I asked again earlier, please report all the newcomers coming for the first time to the temple. Please visit the desk there on the backside. You'll get a nice gift. Also, you get to register for the temple events. So all the sponsors are requested, feast sponsors are requested to assemble in the front of the altar for a special puja. And others are requested to go near the altar. So this is the demarcation point. If you want to come and dance, you can come and join with us behind this. If you want to just sit and relish the kirtan, you can sit here. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Today's feast sponsors, Srinivas Rao Bogineni and family, Naveen Kumar and family, Praneeth Gongidi and family. So please come forward all the way here in the front. The Pujari will do Sankalpa for you before we start the Aarati. And request all the devotees who want to sit to come forward onto the carpets. Devotees who would like to dance and participate more in a dancing form, they can stay towards the back. So all the devotees, please